context is absolutely incredible as well, because it is amazing. When you sent it to me this morning, I was thinking when someone had mentioned it in passing that it was applicable to only Mario Kart Wii, but having realized that only the USA and Japan have won across every major Wi-Fi Mario Kart title. And if somebody wants to get pissy and say Mario Kart DS in the chat, dude, there was like 4 players per room in that game. Wasn't a major online title. But as far as like the three games Wii and onwards, it's very interesting that only 2 countries have ever managed to take it, considering how many countries have been top dogs in some of the other games. Like I was surprised to not see France on that list for something. Whether it be Mario Kart Wii back in the day, I guess I would have known if they had won a Mario Kart Wii World Cup. But as far as Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 7 go, France always had like a pretty large presence in those games as well. And then here we are with UK versus Japan. UK perfectly capable of winning the whole thing. I think, as we've been talking about up until this point, I would argue UK is the staff's favorite at the least. Like, UK are who I expect to win today. That being said, we are about to get into it. I think we didn't get an opportunity to cover or show the lineup for Japan, so we can just briefly cover that. Let me just find this real quick. So Reddy, Jan, Asma, Type, and Capera. Sebastian not in the lineup, so I'm wondering who their bagger will be this time. I'm not sure who it'll be out of that group. Oh, Capera, apparently. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so with that being said, what's your final prediction for how this is going to shape up today?
I think subbing in Jan is a good idea. I think he's honestly like in their top 3 players. Excited to see some gameplay from you, Reddy. God bless the 4-3 gameplay. I love it so much. Makes it so fast. I think this is going, as much as I respect both of these teams, like honestly on individual and teamwork wise level, I really don't know. I would love to see UK take it home, but I always think watching Japan is a treat, because really their gameplay is just really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Something really interesting about, I think, it got to shine through a little more when we watched Japan last time, was how constant their front-running presence was. It felt like they were the purest team in terms of, like, driving, whereas, like, a lot of other teams are, like, composed of people who were, like, known for not having the most, like, robotic lines, and have, like, really dynamic mid-pack play. Not to say that Japan couldn't play from the back, they just played from the front their entire quarterfinals match. I feel like they were always in front of LTA, and it was like what made it really, really difficult for that team.
Oh, we're here in RBC. It looks like I believe UK was 1-3 at the point. A little bit of playback. Oh, 2-3 right now on the side of UK. It looks like I think TC in 4th on the side of Japan. Looks like he's not going to be able to pass it.
This is interesting. Luke, Sean, and Battle Glitch, please, one time. Did you catch who's in first place right now? Just Sean and Luke coming in 2-3, the typical UK runners, but I'm wondering if this is a top 3 for UK at the moment?
I'm not sure. I think it might be a Japanese member just because Sean ended up starting in 2nd, and I believe, like first usually gets a breakaway. But I see Xander starting up there in 3rd, and then Flair behind. So 2-5 right now for UK, and look at that gap. Look at that gap in the pack right there. That's actually pretty large, but anything can happen really. RBC is like pretty hectic, and if you chance that grass cut or really at the set before that can mean a lot.
Yeah, also, that was a pretty nice target POW coming up from Japan. They kind of like did their best to like get rid of the 2-3 of UK at the time, but unfortunately, I think Xander just had a star in his pocket, and UK managed to slow enough to like mitigate the damage, and they find themselves in like pretty good spots right now. I think they're 2-4. Ooh. And a little banana hit there, but it's not going to stop them much. I thought Luke was just going to drift straight into that green.
Yeah, that hit too close to home about twice now. So if we're going to see a shotgun, imagine we'd see it pretty close. The baggers were even at a point, I think, but one seems to be going forwards now. after they end up splitting up and like going chain through boxes 9-10. So they were going to see a shot at the end right here. Looks like, I think that's a dodge from Type, but he ends up hitting the ground shells of UK. I think they tried to TS a UK member, but the TS there actually not too helpful. It ends up giving you a pretty good respawn. I believe this is a 2-4 to UK. Yeah. Japan dodging up Type, but unfortunately around a tight corner like that, shells are just able to drop and dodge on the Mega, obviously, go back to normal, and yeah, I guess Japan really just tried repairing that deficit I was talking about with that pack in the gap, that gap in the pack, excuse me, that happened on lap 2, but they were not able to repair it. Shock.
Well, we'll see how that one shaped up there. It definitely seemed like a nice opener for UK. You know, with the 1-3-4, and I think they were this sets a nice tone for the rest of it. Obviously, just one race of 12, so a lot still to happen for sure. But I think that that has to be a nice note for UK, who I think coming into these last two matches, whether they be Japan, USA East, perhaps less so Netherlands from the interview last week, but Japan and USA East, I think they were a little more worried about these matches, and it has to be. I think it speaks really well to your team's confidence when you're like a little shaky going into it, and then you manage to take down the first race by like a decent margin. Also, let me just get these scores in.
Yeah, we were able to decipher who was in top that race. It ended up being a Japan member, but I guess that TS ended up, I think, maybe benefiting UK, unless Zender ended up taking over at the end. But I think that's a Sherby out for Japan right there. Yeah, N64 Sherbet land, Sherby, whatever you may want to call it. Reset course, just to get out, get UK out of those top spots. Just the whole track really is off-road. You pretty much can, like, Golden can send you from 6th place to like 1st and a half with the lead you can get, but the Japan member there having a bit of slip up there at the start and putting UK into a top 2 situation. Luke opting to stop Troll, but really hard to hit those like Japanese hitboxes with lag and not even to do that, but gets a bomb right here. Gonna drop it back, and I believe that's 4 of UK in the top 5 right now. Flare ends up getting hit though, and Zen taking out, you're ready right there, and UK heading out into a top 3 here, coming out of the cave in lap 1. Pack is still tight and it's Sherby, and really anything can happen, and we're gonna need some schlagging on the side of Larry, I believe. I think he's the one back there in the mid pack, and some good back greens from Luke to extend his lead. We have an advantage in the bagging battle as well.
I was gonna say, like from your experience, like with top 3 on this track, with like how wide it is. Oh wow, Japan's just navigating their way up. No shot coming out, but 2 dodges and a blue. Japan gonna find themselves in top spots, I'm sure. I think I'm more wondering in UK's case there, with how wide this track is, and like how difficult it can be to trap in a lot of ways. Is top 3 like that early really even that valuable? Like when Xander's like getting ready out of like 1st place like that and they're taking over with top 3, like you can't really hope to like maintain that.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. You have to make sure that your person not in the top 3 is doing literally everything to like solidify that you're going to stay in there, which means like, you know, making sure 7-8 can't hold these odds. Another blue coming out. Wasn't able to catch who's in the first. Not sure if it's Xander in 1st or 2nd right now. And there goes the shock. I'd imagine trying to see. Yeah, I think that was a Japan shock that Luke ended up predicting, but really can't tell. That's going to put Japan into 1st. Trying to see he's going to dodge up 1-3 for Japan right now. Luke's got to be careful here. Don't know if Urai's going to risk the back spam because it's really hard to call it out here in the cave and not get your teammate. And he ends up getting the 2nd place Shroom. I think the deficit from Urei is a little bit too much for him to catch up unless he gets an amazing snipe right here. Will he make the play?
Oh, and he went for it. Oh
god, a really close call there in the last corner. Ends up having to go tight to the green. He ended up stopping on the line, so I think Type ended up getting messed up by that POW, and Xander ended up able to break out in the 3rd. So a 2-3 for UK right there. I agree with what you said though. It's really hard to keep that top 3 like at that point in the race. on a track like Sherbert Led, you really have to make sure that your person who's mid-packing and in the back is preventing the other team from dodging, but at the same time, like, you really can't control what they're chaining in mid spots. It's really hard, I would say, hold the top 3 specifically on Sherbert Land.
Yeah,
2, 3,
yeah.
4? Okay.
Oh wow, not bad at all. A winning race coming out of them at the end. I think Type, like whatever happened to Type at the end there, it just kind of fell apart. It looks like, because I think it was either Type or Jan who was following up in third, because Reddy had the lead, but one member of Japan like dodged and made it up behind Luke. But a lot must have changed on the last couple turns, and as they do typically on that track.
Yeah. It's all really hectic. It's really like, it's kind of deceiving how much that last turn like really matters, because like obviously like for some reason I didn't know this until like 2 years ago, just by playing this game for 10 years, is that you had decreased speed when you're on off-road in Mario Kart, especially on your Flame Runner, and like really the whole last like straight of Sherby is just kind of a cut in itself for how much you really save with those shrooms and all like the risky snipes you will go for. So it's always really hectic there at the end. And we have BC2 coming out for UK and Coconut Mall coming out from Japan, and then Coconut Mall ends up getting picked. I really don't know, like I never really know what to say about this course. I feel like it's a really even course. It really can't tell like what happens in the beginning. I think the cut at the beginning matters a good amount though, so we're gonna see if people end up breaking away at the start right here. Luke trying for that quick fib raid out in Japan, but not able to get it. Pack seems pretty split already. I think UK in 2-3 right now. Bagging battle probably going to be pretty stale for a bit, but you never know. Someone's going to have to risk that 9th place box at one point. Team's behind.
This is what you were saying at the beginning. I think this has always fallen in my mind as one of the more like neutral tracks in the game. It doesn't like particularly favor like like a bunch of top spots or a bunch of bottom spots. Like the start is also like so wide as well, and like gives you weird opportunities to like draft or like drift across the map to like wheelie bump people. So like often the set spots at the beginning don't stay the same, and then whoever grabs triple shrooms or golden out the gate gets some sort of lead. Luke trying to pass it off to Flary, looks like. Nice little team coordination to make sure none of them gets hit by it. I can only assume Flary has something in his corner. This golden, unfortunately, unless he wants to hang on to it all the way past first set, it's not going to do him a lot. I think this is like one of the weirder tracks where like it's getting shrooms at the end, unless it's like right after dodging, often isn't that helpful. You really want this shroom in like the first section of the track here, when you can use this little, when you could do this little dirt cut with it. Luke starting his golden very early, knowing exactly when it'll expire, getting his maximum payoff from it. I really like that. A lot of players using it a little too late. I don't know if he's going to be able to do much with this red. I think Japan has bottom 2 and maybe top 2, or at least they have 2 top spots at the moment.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the race play out exactly how we planned it to right here. Yeah, with the Japan, I believe Japan top 2, bottom 2. Japan really banked on that chalk for their bottom spots. I saw them like not using their dodges at the first set, but like that's like the last time you want to use your dodges if you think you want to get back into the race and not completely fall behind onto the shock, is to just change that first set with what you have. But it's really hard to like, I'm surprised because it's really hard to be like confident about getting the shock on a course with such a like stale bagging matchup. And yeah, that's exactly how it went. Top 2, bottom 2, and so gonna be a winning race for them, not by a huge margin to repair the deficit in the first few races, but then again, it's only race 3. I saw Luke chaining through, Luke taking some interesting lines there on the second lap, just to chain through those boxes, and I respect that because he knew the situation he was in, because he knew that if Japan ended up getting shock, they were in the worst case scenario possible, because they were completely cloaked back there in that 7-8, and they had if Japan ended up getting shocked there, that would have been a disaster basically. And Luke knew that he had to chain through those mid spot boxes just for the blue. Didn't end up getting it and ended up getting stuck with a golden. But really, Japan winning the race, but I'm surprised they ended up baking on the shock that much. A track like Coconut Mall.
Yeah, just did not quite work out to the degree that Japan wanted, but at least it's their first winning race, and at least it's still pretty early on. Down, I think they won that one by 5, and the first few were slightly larger. Yeah, it was a loss by 9 and a loss by 7. So UK just up by 11 points after 3 races. That could easily swing within this span of just this next race. Still pretty neck and neck. Japan showing a little life in that one, which was nice to see. It is pretty late for them, but I've heard they have like pretty pretty degenerate sleep schedules. so apparently it's Japanese war prime time right now, which is whatever works, I suppose. On a back bomb coming out from Luke, everyone's favorite thing to get hit by. An unfortunate part of the game where it's just very, very difficult to react to that. Luke gonna take cut here. It looks like a couple members of Japan did as well. And the pack, like it often does on BC3, is starting to split up a little bit.
I think, yeah, that's Japan first right now. Interestingly enough, we didn't see anybody actually going for Ultra there in the first lap, I think. Just a bunch of people lining up for the normal shortcut, kind of some conservative classic Mario Kart play there. I don't know, it's strange, you never see people not going for it. But we have a lead in the bagging battle right now. Might not matter too much in a course like this, but we're gonna see. Oh, looks like the first place Japan ended up failing a low trick there, and they're off the course. Sean Tanny taking the cut there in second. Into first. 2 people taking the cut, not able to see who they are right now, but here we go, right after lap 2, or right after the cut on lap 2 on BC3. This is when the pack gets crazy, and like a lot of the spots for the race and getting decided. Looks like a pow right onto Luke, but Type ended up running into the wall right there, and I feel like the race is gonna be, oh, we have a blue coming out. I believe that's Sean Tenney still in first, but I see him stopping right there, so maybe a Japan member ended up getting hit, but dodging. Playing some mini-map scouting right now to cast factoring out on a Luke while he is the Mega. We're going to see which team, if any teams are going to prevent the other from taking cut, and they're blue out.
Until we get a spectator mode, my man, we have to do our best with what we are given. And, a dodge coming out of Luke. He's not going to go for Shroomless or anything fancy. He's just going to go ahead and pass a lot of these people. Type! The unfortunate bomb. That is so tragic, and I think that is just one of the harsher parts about the game, because Type maybe getting bombed, he's actually going to lag through it, but Luke is going to get the Mega. I can't believe he didn't get hit by those greens. Type just continuously lagging out of every hit UK has on the board for him.
Oh my god.
Finally gets hit by an item. It only took 5 attempts.
Wow, I'm kind of floored by that ending. That is so well played from Luke to recover, after getting bumped near that patch of dirt. Like, every one of those drafts mattered, and I don't know, it seems pretty small, but getting all of those drafts kind of requires a bit of precision, and how he specifically didn't really whatsoever. Just mechanically, really good showing from Luke right there, and then 2-5 for UK. He got complete revenge right there on Type. I can't believe that. That was really interesting to watch. He narrowly almost fell off the course on that straight with the moving boxes there at the end. That was a treat to watch right there, and a great GP for UK.
Yeah, that was a really interesting start. It's funny because we were talking about an 11-point swing, and it was 11 points, but it was just still in UK's favor. So the lead of theirs extends by a little bit, and now they're up by 22 in the first GP. I think this is still decently close. I think each race, like at an individual level, feels pretty firmly in UK's control, though. Even on Coconut Mall, where we saw Japan was able to take a win, it was by a much more marginal amount, and it felt like UK often had the control during that race in the sense that, Japan had top two, and maybe we don't have the tools to get them out of it, but we can do everything we can to mitigate the damage, and that's what it felt like. I don't think. I hope they can respond well across these next two GPs, and I guess if not, there's a whole nother war to go.
Yeah, exactly. This is just the first of potentially 3. I think Japan hopefully will rebound from this because I'm hoping to see a close match, but it doesn't seem to be a stomp so far. UK definitely showing their prowess, just having more players like in the top spots in general, but a new GP and potentially a new track pick could like really spiral it in Japan's direction. It looks like we're going to have a Maple Treeway out for the side of Japan. And right here, catering to their 1-3. Pretty easy to keep like first out from this. Third might be hopping into the cut. This course, honestly, like it's been known as a running course. We've seen like a good amount of. We've seen very interesting lap 3 shocks that have turned the tides. We've had like a lot of highlights, I feel, on like lap 3 shocks and situations here, like right after the cannon. So I hope this is gonna be a treat of a race.
I wonder, like, thinking about this track, it's funny because I think most of the times we've seen this track through the tournament, it's been like the opening track. It's often been like the very first track of a war. I guess in this case, like, the spots are reset now. The second GP starts, and it is a neutral track. At the beginning of any GP. I have to say, like, I kind of agree with you. Like, it is like touted as this running track that kind of like hails lines above all else. But the dynamic of the cannon like changes so much about it, and we have seen a lot of comebacks on this track. The blue coming out right before the shock, it's gonna delay a bit coming through cannon, so I don't know if that's gonna change much with the information that it gives some of the other teams. No, it looks like it's gonna make contact with 2 members of Japan. A really nice and convenient blue.
That's an interesting lap 2 shock. They got so many players in the cannon. I can't believe that all of those were Japan, unless you're ready right there falling off. Japan bottom 3 right now after I believe that was their shock. Not exactly sure. We're taking some interesting lines there, I guess, to avoid the red, but I really don't know about a lap 2 shock like that. They're going to need what do you know if that was a shock?
No, I'm pretty positive. Wait, am I thought that was UK's shock. Because it seemed like they gained a lot of ground off of it, but maybe it was Japan's and they just didn't know about the blue, and like that's my mistake. Because I thought a few members of UK towards the back of the pack dodged off that, but my read on that situation may have been incorrect. I think from my understanding, like it looked like Japan had a lot of top spots, and UK on this side of UK. Especially with the blue, they probably didn't want Japan to like break away that much, and were willing to risk the opportunity of like, well, maybe Japan gets the second shock. This race is looking pretty good for UK right now. Yeah, I think that. Dude, I don't understand. I don't understand why Battle Glitch isn't on. That would that would help. That helps so much.
We try our best here at Endgame while casting to cast while our streamer is at the back of the pack and there's no Battle Glitch. Not really able to tell the
like I keep
right now. Yeah.
I keep second guessing myself because I was like judging. Okay, thank God I was correct. Because I was like, I saw UK like take a bunch of space at the end, like I wasn't 100% confident. I was like so sure that was a UK race.
Yeah.
So top 2 and then 4-5, and then I think another 10th for Jazz, which is really funny. He's he's gotten 10th every race, but it just doesn't matter with the other positions UK's been getting. This is a very, very nice. So a confirmation that it was UK's shock. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense from the situation of like who was dodging in the cannon and how the blue was getting used there. I think that was just the simple read on the situation. Them heading to TF now, interesting. TF often hailed as like one of the more running based tracks in the game, and not that UK is bad at running, but I feel like it is definitely the solid strength of Japan. And but you're willing to pick it against a team like Japan with the top spots and the confidence in your own skill, I suppose.
Yeah, if they really have been flexing the running skill, this is definitely a course it's going to take advantage of it. We're gonna see what happens here at the start. Might have a wonderful bomb at the start for Japan that could lead things off, but we have Luke right here actually drafting the second, and that's probably gonna be a clean like top 3 to top 4 at the start of the UK. You're gonna see if Japan ends up shrimming up. Pretty much everyone just drafting each other on the side of the Brits right now. Doesn't seem like any Japan members were able to pull a bomb right there in the mid pack or a golden to solidify themselves into those top. So UK holding on despite the holding on to those top spots despite the close middle pack right now, and that matters a lot on a course like this. I feel like this is a course where if you're starting off in bad spots, you need like those really early on blues, or you need some early on magic to start with a golden or a bomb. But nothing right now, and 8th extremely far behind. We have Jan in a second. I think this is the second Mega trying his best to break out here, and the red Xander having some miscommunication right here. Oh man, Luke being stuck with the TC right now, but ends up pulling the Mega right away. Interesting to see him go tight there on the backwards arrows. I guess that is fast when you have the TC. Pulls up the blue right now. I guess UK still holding on to first right there, but definitely a bit of miscommunication coming out there on the side of the game between Xander and Luke.
Yeah, that lap, a bit of a UK disaster. Luckily for them, I think they got a lot of items there that helped them kind of stop how bad that was starting to turn out. They had top 4. Jan broke it up with his Mega. The red was mistimed. Xander had to kind of like drive out of his way to break it with his teammate throwing it at him. But we'll see how this all wraps up towards the end. Luke goldening up at the end. Looks like a lot of Japan still in bottom spots. They're going to be able to pass Luke, but I'm pretty sure most of UK was still at the front, so that's not going to be that bad. I think judging on the dodges at the end, UK must have gotten the shock again, and that really prevents that race from turning out more poorly than it could have. Dude, I have to say, I was gonna point it out at the beginning of this race, but I think like Jazz is making such a huge difference in the outcome of this war right now, because I think almost every single shock, yeah, that's a top 2, 4, 8, 10. Jazz making like an enormous difference in what's going on. I don't think Japan has gotten. I think Japan may have gotten 1 shock so far. And meanwhile, like every other race, like if UK is slipping up, Jazz's confidence in his ability to like pull it, or just already having it, often swings UK back into top positions. Or in the case of that race, like they were already set up and like pretty solid spots, and he just hung on to it, right? He just ended up using it after everybody passed the line. I think that was a something talked about Japan at the very beginning of this competition, where it's like how familiar are they in comparison with the other top teams with just a 5v5 format. And it's not like they never play it, but it's certainly less known. Like Japan's certainly less known for it. And I think against a team like UK, where you have a bagger that is as good as Jazz, I think it really starts to show.
Yeah, they're getting outclassed, I believe, right now, like both from the running and the bagging department. But not too surprised the first part, just really because, in my opinion, I think the line that UK has going right now, especially with the tricore of Luke, Xander, and Sean Tanny, is just straight up the strongest running department in the entire tournament, in my opinion. I just like those three specifically. Shouts to Flary, don't worry, I agree he's a wonderful player, but those three specifically just so strong. And when you don't have the shock to back yourself up into it, really there's not much they can do at this point. They might just have to end up resorting to I guess we have a reset course right here, but as we've seen in the past, like it's not like hard enough of a reset course because you can really get outplayed. Like, you might need to see some raceways. I'm not sure. Japan's going to confide into a raceway or a Mario circuit here on GP2 of the first four, but like it might really be needed. They just seem to be like getting outran because on a course like this, stop troll there, but it's not going to matter before the first box. On a course like this, there's a lot of outplay potential still with all of like the tight corners as opposed to something like Mario circuit, which is a lot more wide.
Also, something to note when you're talking about like what else could be being done from like the back and like the outplay potential on this track, I have to say, like very early on in this race, we saw Jazz breaking away from Capera in the back, like very far in 10th. It looked like Capera may have hit like a chain jump at the time, but Capera, I feel like on this track, your options are not, you're not completely gone, right? You, as the opposing bagger who does not get shock, have plenty of areas and spots where you can do things like drop stars, using the chain chomps around the map. It is also like because of like the layout of the maze section, I feel like you're able to like hide stars in a way for your teammates that you can't do on other tracks where they're just like out in the middle of the line that everybody else is going to be taking as well. I guess we'll see how this changes again. I have to guess from like Japan's spots and the way this is looking for UK chaining for dodges at the end that they might have shock in their possession again. This looking like a really solid race for Japan, though. That's 3 members of UK in bottom spots.
Yeah, we're going to see the results here. I think Xander ended up with a third. Maybe it was potentially a top 2-4. Not really sure, but I agree with you. You said the backing matchup like definitely has outplay potential. The point I was referencing, like with the outplay potential as opposed to something like Mario Circuit, because people pick. Obviously, like both Mario Circuit and Peach Gardens are considered these they're considered these reset courses. But the difference between them and like why it's like easier to pick Mario Circuit. Oh, there we go. 1, 3, 4, 6 for Japan. Definitely going to put them back in it in both points wise and I guess a mental sense. They're gonna be able to pick some running courses now. But to go back to what I was saying before is that on Peach Gardens, you have these tight corners for runners. You have trap spots. You have the race is longer. You have more diversity in what you can do with the pack. But on a course like something, I just always reference Mario Circuit because in my opinion, it's like the largest left track in the game. Like, so everything is wide. It's every corner is wide. Like it's short. There's even more shroom spots. Like you can't really make these like plays in like the top positions and like benefit for them, and it's like so much harder. Like it's so much harder to like show off really cool plays around like corners on something like Mario Circuit. And if you feel like you're that Delfino, another example I think of Gardens, where like people pick it when they're behind, but like if you really are getting outplayed, you have to confide to something like maybe Desert Hills, which works the same as Mario Circuit. They're different types of reset courses in my opinion.
Yeah, that I definitely get what you're saying. That I wonder if Japan is going to end up going that route. It's really funny to think about how Japan, this team like known for their driving, maybe just forced to go some of these like not these quote unquote luck tracks, if you will, tracks that are not known for being about driving to the same extent. But the way things have been shaping up. Ready doing massive damage to Team UK right now, by the way. This is a huge gap between pretty much every UK member and the rest of the Japanese pack. They managed to take Ready out, it looks like, but this is he did his job. That stop troll with the star caused a lot of damage. and UK is going to have their work cut out for them. They're really going to need the shock because I think against a team like Japan, you're not going to be able to rely on them just, tanking or failing lines.
Yeah, that was like absolutely massive. I haven't seen a gap in the pack like that on lap 1 in like a long time. But Luke able to take the Ultra right here with the golden, and pretty much is going to reset the pack because of how lovely Drive everyone's can work with that Ultra. And then Japan ended up getting the TC in the mid pack chain through spots. I believe they're still in a top 2 where there's not a bad position unless these Reds connect. But like, yeah, UK able to find themselves up there just because of the Ultra on lap 1.
This is a long way to go. I don't expect these Reds to connect. The blue coming out on the side of UK, so that's going to stop one Japanese member. The combo going to come out from Type. Very unfortunate for him. Sandhop on the side of Luke. He's starting to show off. Yeah, by the way, if you're watching and you didn't know, the person we're watching play right now is also the world record holder on this track. I think it's worth noting how rare it is that top time trialers cross over with top competitors. The communities, I think, like are pretty separate in a lot of ways. Ooh, a red to combo off another blue. Ready, so much damage on the side of UK. That is, being dealt by them. Japan just getting a really rough draw. Is he able to take out Jan as well? The green whiffing, but UK just destroyed Japanese top spots over the course of that race and really made sure that race was at the very least just not that bad. That was very well coordinated, if not a little lucky on the side of UK for pulling all the blues there, because that race at the beginning, Reddy's play with the star, that race looked so firmly in Japan's favor, and it just slowly swung in UK's over the course of the race.
Yeah, I believe UK ended up getting 2 blues as well in the last 2 laps. Still a 1-3-6-8, I believe, still a win for Japan right there. But just the 2 blues, they were all able to take Ultra. And it really doesn't matter. That stop trolling on lap 1 cannot matter too much. That's just the nature of DDR. A lot of sand courses in Mario Kart just happen to have that extreme catch-up potential, and then Luke was able to get that combo out. Really good for him going on the left right there to make sure the red ended up landing, because I definitely ended up putting, I believe, Type who got there in that 3 out of commission. I agree with what you said though about it's very rare to see the TT community, or at least just like top time trialers, crossing over and becoming like top racers at the same time. Yeah. Just because, for the fact that like they're 2 completely different skill sets, and at the same time, like being able to like just really like the skill cap of being able to be both of those at the same time, and the practice both of them kind of require, it's kind of astounding. We saw like a similar situation, I think, that Luke is in right now from Fox, maybe in like the early years of Weemfi, where he was like definitely like Fox, like the best T tier in his prime.
Yeah.
And then he started like playing online a bit more, and he started getting respected in the same aspect that Luke did. But I think it's a treat that we get to watch his gameplay. We haven't really seen course to really show it off, I guess, other than kind of DDR, where like you could see like, wow, we were watching the person who has like all these world records, and like their lines definitely showing off. But we're just switching over, I think, to Uretti right now on the gorgeous 4-3 gameplay that I'm biased towards loving because I am nostalgic, and I love 4-3 because it makes everything look faster, and I will not stop talking about it.
You do love to see it. I love a fat Funky Kong on my screen. It is nice to have a little Japanese perspective on this war. We'll, hopefully see them start to carve their way back into it. I have to say, after 8 races, UK is up by 42. So Japan, with how well UK are playing, especially in the bagging department, you have to wonder how they're going to find their way back into this one. It looks like Type and Flary took Rock, so their break is just quite large. Very interesting, I have to say, over the years, how, this track has evolved from everybody doing rock hop. Oh, it looks like we may have lost our feed, unless that's just on my end.
No.
Okay. It's back. Wait, it's coming back. It's coming back.
Bit of the Mario Kart podcast right now.
To the Mario Kart podcast.
Yeah.
This track, I think what's worth noting is like prior to Weemfi, what was standard on this track, even at like higher levels of play, I would say, was respawn, and not a lot of people would consistently go for rock hop, which is completely changed. Where I think people have become like generally good enough at rock hop, or weirdly enough, I think gained the understanding that you can fail rock hop and make respawn like most of the time, so like it's worth going for like pretty much always. Whereas like in the old days, I feel like it wasn't that way. People didn't have that understanding for some reason. Japan dodging at the end, I think a few people may have dodged and cut as well. Capera gonna pass a lot of people, but a lot of Japan, you know, still at the back, Reddy and one other member. Xander also in bottom spot. So I'm really curious how this one plays out in the top. Obviously, we missed most of that race, but that's just how the cookie crumbles on occasion. And we'll see the final results. You know, it'll be a little surprise for this one, a little something to unwrap.
I think it was actually a good Japan race. I'm pretty sure I saw 5-6-8 from UK there at the end. On the line. I think whoever dodged at the end. Yeah, there's a top 2-4 right there for Japan. So good race for them. On a course like this, extremely hectic all around, like with the cut. I do think it's interesting how you mentioned that though, because I feel like almost out of like every course in the game, like Grumble has the largest like gap or noticeable like change in how it's been played. I will say, at least from like Wi-Fi to modern day Wi-Fi, just with that rock, like really in these top rooms, you just see people like, you don't really see people going for respawn aside from like lap 3 anticipating the dodge. It's kind of crazy. People just default to the rock nowadays, and it's just really interesting to watch. I don't think really we have maybe other than BC3 where people. BC3 and BC Wii, I guess, people end up taking like the ultra shortcuts a lot more often. But yeah, it's really interesting to see the progression. I think how the game's been over the years.
I wonder. Hopefully be something. I think one of the streams, one of the player streams, might have gone down.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're changing povs. We're going. No, never mind. Yeah, we're back to Luke. Okay.
Hey, there we go.
Woo. Okay, so the bit rate on the bit rate a little too high on Ready Stream, and also, you know, let's get the 16:9 back. Let's get the widescreen back on the table. You know, we had our fun little throwback there for a moment. Oh, and here it is. GCN Mario Circuit, one of my favorite tracks in the game. If I'm not mistaken, one of your favorite tracks in the game?
Correct. I'm glad we're equal on this. I love this course, especially mostly for the all-running aspect of it. But I think it's a course that people don't always lump it in with hard luck courses, but I think it's a course where you can have a lot of outplay potential, and the fact that it has one main cut that you can play around, where if you stop troll enough and take boxes, you can really shut down the enemy team like a lot. Is if you are taking boxes in the first set while the other team's bottom, or if you're stop trolling specifically around that, you can cause so much damage, because that one cut at the start right there really is like the only catch up in the race. And a very laggy green hatchback right there. The green backspam ends up lagging a lot around that corner. I believe a fun fact, if I'm not wrong here, backspam ends up lagging a lot around that corner compared to others, because there's a little, you know how you get a little bit of air over the grass right there, and I believe like the air that you get from like that little like grass hop ends up like messing up where the player in front of you is a bit. I could be wrong, that's what I've listed.
Yeah, it is crazy how you know, from a common spectator's perspective, I think the often reaction to that is like, well, what a load of shit. Like, I can't believe he gets hit by that. But I think part of playing this game at a top level is understanding the way the lag works online and playing around it. And it's often something that top players have a very like deep understanding of, and it is like literally part of succeeding. Sean going for the nuts bomb snipe, by the way. I don't think that another nuts bomb snipe, certainly not the same one, coming up from Japan, I hope. And Japan dodging right at the end. Oh my god, that's so huge. That's going to definitely give Azmac, I think, a top 2 spot. Not a lot of Japan like moving up too much off that one, but that could have been enough with how tight the pack was on the last turn to get first. I'm really excited to see such a last-minute play coming out from Japan, and finally a shock on their side as well. Very, very nice to see.
I want to say that was a 4-5-8 from Japan or something of the sort. I think it might have been like a closer 8. Yeah, 3-4-5-8. Top 2 for UK right there. A good race for them. Not what Japan like to see, but at the end there, I believe we saw both teams going for that same bomb snipe, like over the little incline right there onto that last corner before the boxes, which one of them landing from Japan to Luke. Great to see that, but after the second set right there in lap 3, UK 2-3-4, and then the blue pull, basically exactly what UK wanted right there. And they end up pulling top 2 from that. Going back to what you were saying about the just adapting to lag, I think that's just, it's such a huge feat to climb, because it's not only that it's hard to get used to hitboxes from like different regions depending on where you live, but like it's also kind of like owning up to it and like not getting too frustrated and angry, thinking like specifically like a lot of people would have be angry versus Japan or Australia, like most of the world, because like the gap, like the distance between them is so large, and then they end up like the whole of Japan could be like teleporting on the American player's screen, but then you have to realize like, okay, but everybody else is lagging for them on their screen, and like knowing how to like really what it means, like as someone who's like trolled a lot in high divs, like you really have to account for the region you have, or the distance you have between players, and like if you're trying to hit someone from Japan with a star as opposed to someone like in your same region, you have to like, you kind of have to hit like 2 or 3 car lengths ahead, and it really is a difference that people have to get used to.
It is absolutely crazy the way you have to like adapt to like different regions and like understand also like where you live and like how that relates to the people you're playing against. I think it's really funny we're talking about lag, and like from Luke's perspective, someone just flew up in the air hitting nothing, but on their screen they hit a bob car. I think it's just one of the like crazier and like more unique aspects of this game, where it's like, I think to a lot of people like spectating outside, they would be like, oh, why does that happen? But like we're just so used to it, like it's just very normal. Luke trying to tap on a snipe to Japan's first place right now. It's gonna miss, but a valiant effort regardless. And it looks like Japan has first, but UK with the 3 spots behind them. This is gonna be, oh, Luke making, I would say, a rare mistake, but 2-3-4 with like a decent distance on the rest of the pack. Honestly, oh, Azmac. Oh no, Luke hitting his own red because Azmac was moving too slow and the red didn't make contact in time. That's really, really unfortunate, but that does mean that UK's in top 2 right now, and this golden is going to help him recover. A nice high place golden. This is looking really, really good for UK at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, judging by the position of the baggers, oh, there's a red right out there from Luke, and that's going to, I think, solidify a top 3 unless there's some ending shock, but as I said twice now, from the position of the baggers, I was pretty sure that someone had shock, and then I saw Japan chaining in that first set without any dodge, so I believe UK was in the possession of the shock there for the last like lap and a half or so, and with that lead they had and the lack of blues, that pretty much just had them ride into an easy win for the race. Not sure what the player outside top 3 got, but that's going to be an amazing race for them, and I think like not close to mathematically closing out the war, but Japan might be looking to take this to game 2 mentally, I'd say, at this point. I'm not sure actually what the deficit is fully. I believe it's around like the 70s maybe at this point. So it's looking pretty tough.
Yeah, this is a rough go for Japan in this first one. Race, I mean, this one's pretty much over. I don't think they can make it happen in the 12th race right now, which is unfortunate. This part of the game where, you know, like, you can often find yourself in a situation where it's just like not mathematically possible to come back anymore. That's that top three plus that top three off of UK definitely seals off War 1, and then Japan pretty much just have to think about and like focus on the next one. They still have like plenty of time, plenty of opportunity to turn this around. I have to say this is like significantly more one-sided than I expected it to be.
Yeah. Really, like what people were talking about before, like just about Japan going into the World Cup that you mentioned before, that they're not as used to the 5v5 bagging format as like the 6v6. I think like Skype was not even with baggers, which has definitely got to be very jarring for them going into this. And but really, like UK's skill, I just think their runners are just so great. It's really hard to outrun like just the players in top 3 right now. And shout out to Flary, I'm sure like he's doing like wonderful work like there in the back. Like as we saw like from Havo like on US East. But yeah, going into this race, I thought this was this was race 11 right here. So I ended up messing up. Normally I'm always on the FW mat command thinking about like what's mathematically possible. I had to do that a lot throughout most of the World Cup just because of the huge deficits we've seen, but I was off by a race, so yeah, this is definitely going to be a game 2.
Yeah. This one is they were down by 51 going into this, so even with the top 5, it was not possible. And I think like you can kind of relax, like it kind of gives you an opportunity, since this race doesn't matter. You can kind of like chill and like think about the next war without really worrying about the outcome of this race. You know, Luke had that like little fail at the beginning, like kind of messed up, kind of got bumped. It looks like actually a lot of UK in bottom spots right now, so maybe Japan Japan could just be messing around to try and make this last race a good one. What happened to what did I just
Aspect slowing down, then teleporting to the 5th dimension to actually get them in the cannon. But at the end of the end, he's out in first right now. Aspect showing his prowess to like time travel to seal the race with Japan, but I think he ended up failing double right there, not sure. And a bit of a fail out from Luke. Chaos right here in the final lap of the final race. I think actually still a good race in Japan unless the screen connects, and it does. And 3-4-5 for UK right there, but really the lap 3 3-way cannon shock for UK, despite how much they had to slow down to account for Azmac. Really just showing how strong it is.
That's so funny that they just like Japan just turns it on for the last race when it doesn't really have any consequence. 2, 3, 4, 5 coming out. 7, 10 to make the final score. 388 to 344. So a win only by 44 points. And my cat is biting on my headset. He's not even my cat. He's my roommate's cat. He's like very distracting right now. Keeps jumping up on me.
I think we might need a submission in the Pet Picks channel after that.
I might need to pet picks this. This is the cat that single-handedly destroyed our BC3 race in MKPS last week. By jumping on my controller and causing me to drive off in third with a mega.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, I don't know if you have the GP2 picture anywhere. Did we see a clean donut from Jazz right there, because I love to see that in the baggers. I think he
Yeah,
had 0 full war, which I love to see. That's a flex as a bagger in my opinion.
he definitely got a couple. I think he donutted GP1 and GP3. I don't think he did GP2. I remember he got a bunch of 9ths like halfway through.
That's unfortunate. I love seeing the donut on the results. It's wonderful to see, like in a positive sense. I remember shoutouts to Vito back in Revitalize the Day would try to flex and always get the 0, but really great job from Jazz. Like definitely like had an advantage in the bagging department there on UK and in the running department. I wonder if Japan's gonna switch out their lineups. I don't know of this like the activity situation in their lineup, but like I would imagine that they have a good amount of diversity between the players they can swap. So we're gonna see if they end up doing that for game 2.
I think we're Luke, God bless his soul, is going to set up Battle Glitch.
Oh.
So that is gonna make War 2, possibly War 3, much easier. I think we are going to cut to a short break before we get into this second match. But just a quick, we wrap up that first one firmly in UK's control for the duration of the war. Never really swung back into Japan's favor, even though it was relatively close. And we'll see if they can bounce back in this second war. So Calvin and Syke will join you in just about like 5 minutes or so, and we'll be back with the rest of UK versus Japan. Japan versus UK. Stumbling over my words, my sleep deprivation getting to me, but I had to do it. I had to get up for this match specifically. I don't even know if I would have woken up for another match. The Japan versus UK, I knew it had to be done. And this one's shaping up pretty interesting so far. I think the main thing, you know, as a spectator that I would like to see for this second one, is honestly, I wish it swung back and forth a little more. Like the final score was like relatively close, only a deficit after 3 GPs of like 44 points, right? But I really wish Japan had like kind of swung it more firmly back in their favor. And then UK had like regained the lead. That makes for like more exciting matches, perhaps. But we do have the results pulled up right now. As you can see, Xander was on 95 after the first 2 GPs. I would note that.
Yeah. Really, as I said before the stream went down for a bit, just kind of getting outclassed completely in the running and bagging department. Outside sources telling me the shot count was 11-1 in UK's favor. So really, when you're getting outran, you just kind of have to rely on that shock. And Japan, the courses they picked, and didn't really end up like getting them back in the top spots, but not as much of a huge deficit as we saw. I guess you said only down around like 40 going to the GP3, as we've seen in other World Cup results. However, the issue they had last year, the bag situation, might be solidified and helped a bit, because I believe the only roster change we have for this sport is that Japan's bagger Capera has been subbed out for Sebastian, who I think has bagged for them for most of the tournament, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously before this -44 loss, Japan has had pretty good success in the World Cup. So hopefully we see them able to repair their game 1 with the Sebastian subman.
Yeah, it was a change that I think was really, I guess I would say, necessary. I hesitated because I don't think Sebastian is necessarily going to swing the shot count in their favor. But I do think just because he's been bagging over the course of this event, seems fairly competent against the other top teams. And I was generally curious as to why Capera was, bagging out the gate to begin with, considering Seabass had bagged so many of the matches prior. I'm glad to see this up. It makes sense. I don't think it's necessarily going to change the outcome, but we'll see. A nice cannon track to open it up. As we were talking about, Maple Treeway, a very common opener, and here we are yet again. And we'll see if that, if that new bagger makes a difference on this track where everybody gets a dodge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we finally have Battle Glitch for this war. God bless, so happy to see it. Especially because I remember there was a bunch of confusion on the last Maple Treeway race specifically.
Yes.
Because of how you really can't see anything on this course. And oh wow, the ground star bouncing off the Wiggler. Even though Luke ended up going for it. I think some player picked up, couldn't see this Japanese or a British member, but a course like this, as you say, with a cannon, but also there you go. Luke getting smashed off by a draft to the side of Japan. But the bagging matchup, I'd say, is a little more skill-based in this course, with all the backwards tech there is a good amount of it compared to some other courses. But that's 1-3 for Japan right now. 1-3-5 around, packed pretty tight.
By the way, I think we want to take a moment. I think I want to acknowledge that this is the type of event that a lot of people less familiar with the competitive scene end up watching. And we just kind of throw around terms like Battle Glitch a lot. For those who don't know, Battle Glitch is a little thing that basically when you go into battle mode, the way names display above players is different. And when you leave a certain track in battle mode, that way that the names display, which is 3 at all times, no matter what, remains in normal versus races. And basically the point of it as a player is that it gives you more information without having to ask about where your teammates and where the opponents are. So as you can see, in comparison to the previous gameplay, we always see 3 nameplates on Luke's POV, no matter what. Whether he's looking ahead of him, looking behind him, and it's a super, super helpful thing for players, and also a very helpful thing for casters.
Yep.
So Luke coming out of the cannon with this bomb, we'll see what he can do. Unfortunately, getting starred out of him by Xander, a difficult situation to coordinate, I'm sure. Looks like pretty mixed spots at the moment. I wonder if Shaka's on the side of UK right now. Oh, a ground star to boot. So this could be really, really good for UK right now if they have Shaka in the corner.
Yeah, we're gonna see here right at the last second, because on top of that, you also have that net that you can TS on, but Luke not using it yet. Going to see what happens right here. I see the baggers going forward. I feel like someone has it. I would have to say it's definitely the side of Japan right now, just holding it, and that's gonna be 5, 6, 7 there for UK. So it looks like a good race for Japan right there.
Yeah, that's a nice way to start it off. So I have to say, Japan, if they got Shock, already looking considerably better than they did in the last war. Getting, one Shock is already tying their Shock count for the previous war. So very, very nice start.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Top 2-4 from Japan, but yeah, that's what you like to see, really. Just Japan able to get a good race off the bat right there, and hopefully able to translate that off with a good track pick. I wasn't able to see like a good amount of the top spots there for most of the race, but Luke getting shoved off there in the draft at the bridge ended up messing up a lot for UK, I'd imagine.
Man, I think like if this is anything like the last war, right? Who's to say it'll play out in the same pattern? But UK opened really, really strong in the last war, and now Japan opening really strong in this one. And then we'll see if this momentum, holds through to the rest of this war. I would love to see a game 3 between these two teams, because I would say it's what I expected. I thought Japan was going to be doing much better, and this race boding really well for the sub that they put in and for their chances this war.
I want to say we can have Sherby out here, or N64 Sherbert I just always use that nickname for years. We have a Sherbert coming out here for UK. I think it's really interesting because I feel like out of all the reset courses, like we see teams normally opting straight away for Gardens or Delfino, and I feel like UK is like the only team that opts straight away for Sherbert Land in these situations. Really interesting to see that from them, because I think it does work with all like the off-road and how like scrims in the beginning can matter so much. But I think you top spot, maybe Xander falling off there at the beginning. Azmac, I think triple Sherwing are golding up to the front. Japan holding a lot of the top spots, I feel, in this relatively tight pack. But as we saw from the last war, a blue or anything really on this straight right here could change it completely, and Luke's ended up holding this Mega up. But Mega Dodge not as strong as the Star in this course, obviously, just because really like having that, like being it, like Star is just so much stronger on this course of a Dodge than like one, because of the whole track being off-road. So it's definitely going to help him, but we'll see what happens. I think a bomb being flung up, or maybe I was confusing that for one of the baggers going backwards. Type trying to backspam here with the green, swerving around, trying to curve those greens around, especially with the lag, but to no avail. Pack relatively tight still, and you're ready to end up getting megaed, I think, by Xander or Sean.
Oh, Xander ended up getting that TC, and it didn't look like they really had the time to coordinate maybe a pass, or maybe Luke just wants to hold on to that Mega no matter what. He's held on to this since the first set, so 1-4 on the side of UK. A blue coming out on Sean from Japan, so this is, and a combo red to top it off. Top 2 from Japan. Honestly, if UK doesn't have Shock, this might be a tough one to come back from. On the side of Japan, if, Seabass has it, yeah, it looks like they're going to interlock their Megas here to, like, try and predict anything out on the side of Japan. A blue for UK, and Luke using his Mega, finally getting himself into first, playing off of that blue, and, this race now swinging in UK's favor. Jazz looked like he was getting ready to drop a star in case Japan used it. Able to break this red even with the POW. Wow, this is... Japan dodging at the very end, so that's 2 Shocks on the side of Japan already.
Looks like Xander ended up benefiting, though, in Type, I think, getting Shock redded. Trying to see the results on the line, but I think it was a 2-4 or 2-3-4 from UK right there. So they ended up benefiting at the end. We saw Jazz right there at the end trying to drop the ground star, but I think he ended up hitting the wall in the cave, trying to keep up. But good play from them. I was gonna say that even if there wasn't a shock at the end, I'm glad I was in. If there was no blue, I believe Luke ended up using the Mega just to predict the blue cancel.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to seen him, if he was able to hold out the Mega until the last set, just to prevent the last set shock, just because of how strong that could have been, and as well as that he just gained so much time at the end because of all the off-road and like being in the Mega and such. But yeah, a great on Sebastian right now for getting these 2 shocks.
Yeah.
Already beating Capera from last 4, so the sub definitely mattering right now. But UK was able to pull out, it seems, just because it looks like the last shock looked a little late and it was messy, and I imagine the British runners were end up stopping the boxes. We saw the person ended up getting first right there. I think it might have been Uretti trying to stop Xander at the end too, but just off by a hair. That could have mattered.
I think that that race was a really, really good example of how to counterplay when the opposing team has shock. I think there was a lot done on the side of UK there to make sure that they capitalized on the situation, even without shock in their corner. So as you saw, like they lap 3, they interlocked their megas to make sure that if shock got used there, at least one person dodged. They timed it with the blue, like predicting a blue cancel. And then also, even at the end of the race, right? Japan in this like situation at the end of the lap where they have so little time to try and capitalize off the fact that, you know, Seabass did get it. Xander still manages to dodge up at the end, mitigating the damage that would be done. And I think Sean, if not dodging, got a really good chain off the last set as well, passing a ton of people. So it's just, I think that was just really, really solid play where you see a lot of teams fall apart in that situation. UK has the like composure and awareness to make sure that they still come out on top, even with the shock in their opponent's corner.
I think that was a back green from Uretti on Xander, like the second ramp. Really well played for him to do that. It's not easy to get those backs in the ramps right there. I think you have to pull off a low trick for it. It looks like Type ended up taking the golden cut, I think. And that's going to solidify him out with a pretty big break in first and lap 1. Uretti having to fight for himself here with 3 UK members looming behind him, but he ends up taking out Xander. Luke gonna see if he can try to draft Sean, I think, a bit there to see if he can get the reds out and Uretti, but no avail. That's gonna be a bit of a target power for him, it looks like. And I think a target power onto the Japanese member at first as well. Looks like he had triple shrimps there, so it's unfortunate that he wasn't able to play off that, so I'll probably imagine a UK power really messing him up there. And we're gonna see Sean lining up for the ultra right here. Luke going for it, the normal cut in second, ends up making it, puts him right out there into first. Someone taking it behind, trying to see which type of member that is. I would imagine, I think Jazz might have shock right now, seeing about where he is in the pack. And a bunch of greens flying around from Azmac, and it ends up locking onto Luke with all that chaos. And then Japan in the top 3 right now, but one of the players definitely having shock. I think it was Jazz, judging by how he was sitting right there. So UK going to have an opening back into this race. Japan is going to need to block cut, and UK is going to really need to get those dodges ASAP, or we might need to see Luke taking out any possible nanos in the cut right here. Jan failing a bit. There seems to be a fib in the cut, and then a TC pull from Luke. Not good at all. If Jan ends up taking the ultra right here, which it looks like he does not, it was going to solidify top 3 for them, but Japan out there in top 2 right now. Xander ends up taking the cut. Doesn't seem like we're going to have any strong shot that's going to shift the top positions right now. Chalk into boxes for UK on Luke, but he ends up getting triple greens, pack completely dispersed. Not sure if Xander was able to benefit from that. Might have been just the top 2. Oh, no, it looks like Xander. Oh, someone falling off there at the end. Were you able to catch that? Was that Xander or was that
I think it was UK. It was UK, yeah. That has to be a Japan top 2 then, right?
Yeah, Japan top 2. UK wasn't really able to apparently find a dodge or be able to find a shock spot that was really going to change the tides in terms of breaking up the top 2 of Japan. I imagine, might have been a shock in the last boxes by Xander, but I wasn't really looking. That was like their only hope back in the race, but it could have been a bottom spot shock just to like damage control. But
So I mean, -7 on the side of UK. Probably not what they wanted out of that one. I kind of expected going into the like cut section of that race that was going to shape up a little different. But yeah, Japan holding strong onto their top spots, which was nice to see, and still in Japan's favor right now by 17 points, just early into the second match's first GP. And UK opting to go Peach Gardens. A little opportunity to perhaps reset spots. So they want their bottom spots or like their mid-pack spots to get shrooms, immediately overtake the Japanese players in the front. Japan, meanwhile, opting for DDR, very technical and front-running based track. What do you think, man? I think one weakness of this game after all this time is that look at this situation right now, right? The two teams want two different things, and we essentially coin flip to decide where we go. And I always thought that was a really interesting aspect. Not that we have like a ton of alternatives, but it is perhaps one of the weaker aspects of the game.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because really, like, it's hard to, like, pick around it. You could say, like, it's really hard to, like people have brought up the idea of, like, having people switch off between races and, like, telling the other team what to pick. But it's really hard to do that without any mods. Just, like, there's not enough time between races. I think if we were able to find a mod that would either extend or remove the timer between races, that would potentially be nice. I think we have the wonderful chatters on stream right here. If you're able to ever make something like that work, that would be wonderful for the competitive scene.
I don't want to look that man in the eye and ask him for any more. I don't want to ask him for any more. Chatters, don't worry, man. We'll figure it out. I'll never complain again. I'll never complain again. I'm sorry. This golden in fifth for Luke. My man getting incredibly lucky. Such a strong item on this course, especially at that set. It's pretty much the best possible pull Luke could find himself, and that's going to give him a decent lead on the Japanese players following close behind him. Seabass and Jazz both pretty tight in the back. I do like how tight the pack is there. Both baggers still with a decent chance for shock, it looks like. And Japan, man, they look so menacing behind Luke right now. If any of them get a shroom here, that's going to be goodbye to his first. Okay. Looks like, if I had to guess, UK getting shocked into boxes there, and looked like one member dodging as well. That got 3 of Japan's members after boxes, by the way. So that's part of why that's like such a strong play there. Japan just left floundering with no items. And UK now in top 3 after that really solid, top 4 after that really solid, and I would argue textbook play.
And a back bomb, I think, from Flary just to seal their top 4. They're gonna need a blue, like, across, like, the Atlantic Ocean bomb snipe right now to get them back into the race. But I think we're gonna have some people shoring up. We're gonna see if he's able to break in there. But no, yeah, that's a clean top 4. It was actually a Xander, I think, with the back bomb there, not Flary. But yeah, God, the only player I think benefiting that shock was Jan, but he ended up pulling a TC and almost had a pass into Luke right there. I saw like the little like fidget on Luke's screen that like he almost passed it, but no avail. Yeah, that's an amazing race for UK. That shock ended up mattering a lot. I wasn't really sure if UK had that because I saw like the backers like going backwards like consistently. I don't know if he just got it that set right there. It would have been clutch if he did, or if Jazz was doing like a mind game to like fake out that he didn't have it for like a set or two. But I'm not sure. Nonetheless, great race for UK. We had a good first 3 races in Japan, but I would imagine after that one, UK had to have taken the lead in the overall GP score.
That's such a huge swing. Yeah, I was gonna say that race alone is a 29-point win in UK's favor. So the points now 128 to Japan's 116, a lead by 12. So unfortunate because Japan played quite well the entire GP up until that race. I think they were just in an awkward spot where they needed to have the understanding that UK had shock and people needed to wait at boxes. Like I think you can't like have your entire team pass first set when you know the opposing team not only has shock but likely has dodges as well. Like it was just a kind of a lack of information on their part, or a lack of awareness on the part of their bagger for like knowing that the opposing bagger had shock. I'm not really sure what the line of communication would have been like, but there was definitely counterplay to that situation, and UK just firmly capitalizing on it.
I'm not sure if Sebastian was also like as surprised as I was that Jazz ended up having it. And
True.
Remember, you're talking about how menacing like that 2-3-4 looked from Japan, and I'd imagine they must have been like holding shrooms and like confident, and they hadn't been communicated that Jazz actually had it, unless he just got it that set, and that just threw the whole race completely out of whack, because Japan, like UK obviously ended up dodging up, Japan getting shocked after that first set, and that's what just kind of set the top four in motion. On top of that, that really painful back bomb for UK on Japan.
Yeah, that is absolutely devastating there, because I think like it's on Japan's part, you have to be sad. There is a lack of awareness perhaps that led to the like shock being used there and like the top 3, top 4 happening, but then the pack splitting to that degree because of the bomb is like sort of luck to a degree, right? Because if you run that situation 100 times over, UK is not getting that bomb every time. But that's how the game goes. There are often like big swings because of single items like that, and UK capitalized off of it perfectly. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Did I just watch an entire lobby take the cut? I think literally everyone took it besides Luke.
Yes. You very much did. It's what you explained. Rumble is a completely different course from many years ago, and that just proves it right there. I don't think I've ever seen that.
I just watched 7 players do it. What just happened?
Oh, God bless Grimmer Volcano, and we're gonna see some more players take it. We're gonna see Type ends up having to line up for it, and ends up bumping Luke in the process because of his little technical fail, and that's gonna put he ends up making it too, and now that's Japan in top 2. Wonderful race right now for on Grumble Volcano. We're gonna see if UK is able to pull out some shrooms here to break into this top. Not sure if Yurdi or Type still have 1 shroom left up there. I imagine they might, but you never know.
Honestly, I feel like we're getting the full Grumble experience right now. Japan looking like they don't have shrooms in top spots. But that shock, actually, that has to be Japan shock, right? That has to be. Yeah, Jan dodging and them keeping their top spots. I think Type and Reddy made a mistake there. They wheelie bumped each other, and Type slowing down a bit. So this might concede 1 top spot to Luke, but the rest of Japan getting...
Oh,
no, top three. Xander, that was Xander shrooming up at the edge. I need to go watch that clip again. I'm sorry. I need to go watch the entire room. It's like a little snake animation.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. I don't think I have ever seen that happen on lap 1.
Oh my god. Yeah, I thought we were gonna see a complete flip from the last race there, but the battle bug deceived me a bit
perfectly,
and I mixed up some stuff. But yeah, that's a great race for Japan right there. The shock ended up mattering a lot, shocking Sean Tanny off, I believe, in 4th when he was going for it. They ended up getting the shock right out from Luke onto one of the Japanese areas, but didn't end up mattering that much, with Jan dodging up and Luke not having access to a item box there at the end. But yeah, that is I wouldn't say a textbook Grumble race, because that definitely doesn't happen every Grumble race.
Yeah.
Not able to see the final results of the race right
now. So I actually did. I fished the results really quick. So we had a top 3-5 on Japan's side. So a very, very solid race from them. I think them taking the rock on lap 2, plus the shock coming in for them in the third, like right at the end of the third lap, really sealed that for them. Seabass really doing work. I have to say, this Japanese sub is just such a good call. It's working out much better than it did in the first war, and it's I think this bagger difference allowing their
Rumble on the topic of tracks that have cuts, the single shroom cuts that end up saving a lot that you could take lap after lap and snowball on. We're gonna go from one directly to the next, and Xander ended up bringing out there into first, and Luke blowing out the mecha. So a good start from here to the race on UK. But Luke, honestly, this really isn't the item you want, or especially not the type of shroom you want, because after this first lap, he's going to probably be, I'd imagine, somewhere in the bottom 2 with all the people that end up taking cut, and then a larger gap.
Oh, Luke!
Maybe some gorge action? Oh, no, he ends up surviving.
And that is the world record holder difference, if I may. having the composure and the knowledge to salvage that situation. Luke, for those who don't know, the world record holder, I think, of shroomless, or not shroomless, sorry, glitchless on this track. He does not have the world record when it comes to, hopping around that little rock at the beginning, as a lot of people have seen, but the more normal record on this track. I have to. This is the first time we've seen this track in a while. I feel like at top level we often. This one comes out a little less and less. Japan 1-3 right now, and Reddy probably gonna follow this TC as long as Luke keeps his distance. UK, in a tough spot. The pack is broken up a lot, and they're gonna be looking to, use shock in this situation to try and catch up if they have it. Maybe this bomb will do something. Not quite.
Really hard to get it off there, just because of how the downhill slope works, and then the difference of lag between the players of Japan and UK. But it doesn't look like there might be a shock right now, or actually maybe on the back side of UK, but not sure. Jan messing up a bit there, so he's going to get Luke with these back nanas. A little bit of a bump there. I wasn't really able to see the spots.
It didn't make a difference. So I think Japan ended up sealing their 1-3 there, from what I could tell. And Luke getting wheelie bound, but it was just by flaring, and nobody else ended up passing him, so it didn't make the difference. That Jan fail at the end, I don't think it was Jan failing necessarily. He was like, he had to hop out of the way of Luke's attempted green snipe, which was very close. Like, that was a really nice attempted side green. But Japan's gonna walk away with the 1-3, and I think that's a winning race for Japan, I think, but by a pretty small margin.
Just by a little bit. To note what you said back there about Gorge really being picked, especially in these top matches, I think it would be somewhat not too controversial to call it more so of a luck track. It gets lumped in, I know, a lot with things like Rumble and Delfino that have just these cuts that end up saving a lot, especially ones that have one shroom. But the difference between something like Rumble and Delfino and why those get picked more often, despite them also being lumped in the same category, is that Gorge, I think, is also like Coconut Mall, where you really don't, you're never in a position where you want to pick Gorge for spots. It doesn't really, you don't want to pick it when you're bottom, because you can get shrooms in 2, 3, 4 or so, and you can kind of run it at the start. But you also don't want to pick when you're top, because bottom spots get the shrooms. So it's kind of an awkward course all around. So
I would definitely agree with your the basic assessment of it being more of a luck track. It's funny. It's one of those luck tracks that I think disguises itself as a skill track almost. In Wars a little, maybe a little less so than an environment like Mogi, but all the same. This track, one of my personal favorites in the game, and we'll see how this one shapes up for Japan, who started in 1-3 And it looks like they have maybe top 2 at the moment. No, UK breaking this up. So UK in a lot of good spots, getting a lot of Japan into the back right away. And we'll see who gets the opportunity to run this one. The pack's staying like pretty tight right now. Also, for those, I just want to clarify, some of people I think are starting to tune in at the beginning of the day, expecting to see Inkstorm 8 on this channel. No worries. As soon as this match concludes, we will be getting to the Inkstorm, the main Inkstorm 8 broadcast. So be on the lookout out for that. That's one of our major Splatoon online tournaments. But yeah, back to this race.
Yeah, I think RBC always tends to create some good races, just in the fact that it has all these tight corners, and there's almost always a shot coming out. The bagging matchup is pretty is relatively skill-based. A bit of a fail right there. Worried that he was going to end up getting his teammate with the greens around him, but Xander will maneuver his way around. Looking at the bagging matchup right now, one of the players seems to be just opting for the 9th place boxes, just going between them, but ends up getting stuck with the bill, it seems. Trying to see, it looks like 2, 3, 4 right now on the side of UK. Not sure if they're going to risk going through mid-spot boxes to get you ready out there. I feel like anything can happen at this point. It's going to really matter what happens with Chalk, because the pack is still relatively tight. Oh, a bit of a fail out there. From
two UK fails.
Yeah, and there's the blue out, I imagine, from Sean or Flary. Does not look. Japan does not have the shock right now, and that's definitely going to be their ticket back in the race. I just saw the bagger fall off, and then the ground green from the blue end up messing up Luke, and then the TC pull from Flary, and he ends up running his teammate in the process. Is he going to be able to run away? He is, but after all of this commotion, still 3-4, I imagine. Looks like 1-3-4 from UK right now, and Luke pulling out the 4th place Shroom, getting able to further his lead, but ends up messing up the Shroom spot a bit. Type starring up, so it does not look like Japan was able to pull the shock right there, and that's definitely was going to be their key to break up these top spots. But a blue coming out, it might hit Xander at the very end, but he ends up stopping. Both of the runners in top 2 stopping right now. I think it was Xander who ended up getting hit. No, it was Uretti. So Xander pulling out into 1st right now, and some people going around the cut. I can't tell. I think that was top 2-4 for UK right there.
Wow, honestly, the way that race changed right at the end, like, so exciting. Poor Reddy, who ran, I think, literally like every second of that race, ended up getting slighted right at the end. So very unfortunate for him. UK, getting the blue that they needed to break up that, that single top spot. And a lot changing in a short time span, and UK securing a win. So this race is going to swing back in UK's favor with 1-2-4 and 8-9. Wow. So that let me just get the score real quick, because this is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly what we were asking for. We wanted this war to swing back and forth a little more, and it looks like UK down by 1 overall after that one. So 7 races in. Just a 1-point difference. This is like insanely close after 7 races.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it. I love these close wars. We weren't able to have a lot of these throughout most of the World Cup, but I'm really glad we're able to have one now. I'm also happy to see a bit of MK8, MK7 action there on lap 3 with Uretti and Xander having to stop for the blue, but in the end, it's going to end up hitting one of them, and it ended up hitting Uretti. I think I saw both of them stopping, so I believe it was a little bit of an even matchup, and that's going to create a good race for UK right there. A lot of fails out there actually from our destined world record holder, but like when you're in this pressure, especially on something like the RBC rail, like when you're doing the spin drift strat, like if you end up like clipping a bit of the railing that goes to the right.
Yes.
Going in the wall.
It's by the way, it's funny we keep having to say this, or like we do keep saying this, but another track where Luke has the world record.
Yeah.
like so many different tracks. Absolutely ridiculous.
I think this one too, right? I can double check. I believe.
Yeah, he does have the world record here as well. So this is absolutely insane that it keeps coming up. Going for, just a simple dock. No way the world record holder is going to blow that one. Although I guess that strat isn't in the world record to begin with. all the same, our world record holder breaking out into first place. Brawly would be, absolutely creaming himself right now, thinking about how this is the best running track in the game. However, anybody with a normal evaluation with this track would know that first is anything but secure here.
Yeah, exactly. I would say actually to a little extent you can run this just because if lap 1 does not go as crazy as it normally does, really the popular shock here is a lap 3 shock, and by then, when the shock happens, people end up stopping a lot. Oh, there we have a blue out there right now, but for the quick analysis, people end up stopping a lot and don't want to be in mid-pack because they want these shrooms. And first can end up breaking away if there's no shock until after or no blue. But obviously, not the case here. And Japan is able to break out in the top 2, trying to see the bagging battle right now because they're completely split in different sides of the map. But I would say that this is a track where shock, maybe top 3 tracks for shock mattering the most. So we'll see what happens right here. I saw Sebas running. I couldn't see
this is an early first set shock, right? So this is it got a lot. Japan out at past boxes. Looks like they're getting blued as well. Xander dodged, and a couple members of UK who didn't dodge getting shocked into boxes. So this is really pivoting in UK's favor right now. We'll see if Type can hang on to first, but I doubt it with all the pulls that are going to get people into double. Actually, a surprising amount of people not taking cuts. So Type, wait, yeah, UK completely turning. What? He just drives through it.
Oh my god! I was gonna say he might be able to red. He might be able to red Type there at the end, but narrowly avoids the bomb by just going to the right of the explosion. Yeah, I think that was a top 2 at least for UK, unless that target POW ended up really messing them up there at the end. But an interesting early shock. Japan ended up getting shocked into a lot of those boxes, but really wasn't able to break up the top, because I believe Xander Dodge was able to take the single, and then Flair was able to get stuff for the double, and I think that was a top 2 for them. We're going to see here. Yep, there we go. Top 2.
Oh, wow. Top 2, 5, 6. What an incredible race. I'm still thinking about the bomb. Someone explain. How did it happen? The shell, it looked like the shell... so what I have to guess happened there is the bomb. This is just me from my loose understanding of the game. I may not be right. I think what happened, judging from the timing of the bomb exploding, that bomb wasn't raw dropped. It wasn't on usually bombs activate when they're dropped based off of when they're close to people or within a set timer. But because I think that bomb dropped because of a POW or something, or not. Maybe it wasn't a POW. Yeah, the POW. So he clipped the bomb with his shell, and because of that late amount of time, and the bomb or the shell activating the bomb, he has enough time to escape it. Still, it's this really rare scenario. And because typically, right, that bomb would explode as soon as Luke got within range of it, and you wouldn't have enough time to escape the blast like that. But because of the situation of it getting dropped from the POW and the shell hitting it, it gave him enough time to drive out before the explosion went off. A very rare scenario, very cool to see. One of the more exciting clips, and another fantastic race for UK. They're up now just by 12 points. This very reasonably close after 8 races. Japan with plenty of room to come back. This point differential, as we've seen over the course of this war, could just shift back immediately over the course of one race. So I'm super excited to see how this last GP plays out. Will we see UK walk away with the 2-0, or are we heading to a third match?
I would love to see a third match as much as I still root for UK, and I love all the football memes to bring it home. I love seeing that in the chat. But I still just love seeing the game 3. I love seeing as much competition as possible. We're gonna see what happens here. DDR, to not repeat ourselves for the 5th time, but the world record holder starting out here in first. but it mattered a good amount in this course with all the tech that we have.
To be clear, the reason we keep saying this is because the person we're watching right now has 13 world records in the game. And as you can imagine, 13 is a very large portion of the tracks in the game. So naturally, over the course of one war, we're going to end up saying that a lot. I do think what you said on during the first war is really, really true. Where DDR is one of those tracks with like a really high execution ceiling, like a really good track to like kind of let your lines shine, if you will. And Luke driving this really, really well. People catching up to him here. If you're wondering why he's losing positions, people going through the massive ultra shortcut at the end with either a golden or a star. Looks like more likely a golden, judging by the lead Jan got on him. And Japan finding themselves in 1-3, even with the break that Luke managed to get out the gate.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens here. I think the bagging battle a little even right now. As I say that, one of the baggers falling off, but no, we're going to see if there's a shock here, maybe at the first set. It really could happen at like any part here, but a lucky second place shroom pull from Luke, but ends up messing up the standoff a bit there and having to use it, trying to see what's happening with the pack after the ultra. Looks like Japan and third right there. Luke very narrowly avoiding the red with just side fourth right there.
Absolutely insane red break, using the like little side of the edge before bat, knowing that he couldn't make it to the bats to break anything. Was really, really cool to see there. Stopping at boxes, hoping to get something perhaps a little better than reds, but I think that'll make contact with Asmec before the line. Nope, he's gonna be able to clear it. Luke barely avoiding the blue, managing to cross the line in time. That was a good race for Japan, I believe.
Yeah, I saw 3 of them in the bottom, 3 of UK in the bottom 4 there at the end, I'm pretty sure. Bottom 4 running. So, yeah, that was a good race for them. Extremely tight red dodge out there from Luke, but wasn't able to really see what was going on there. The shock really ended up just, I think, like, mitigating, maybe trying to... I think Uretti was holding the blue there, actually, and they tried... bluing and shocking Luke in the line, but to no avail. But this is going to put even more back and forth. Are we back to a -1 difference?
Yes, yes, it's back to -1. Okay, so if I just want a confirmation, because I think like there is being up by with 9 at an odd number of races, is being up by 1 is possible, right? I just want to double check my math here. Make sure everything has been correct up until this moment. But yeah, as far as I can tell, the score is UK down by 1 after 9 races. Thank you for verifying. Teeple's signals, much appreciated. I just want to double check to make sure that I wasn't missing anything, because rarely are wars ever this close, and I couldn't actually remember if this was certainly possible. DK Mountain, a cannon track coming out from Japan, looking to run with their top spots and relying on Seabass to get the shock and hopefully capitalize off of top positions in cannon or something. This is incredibly close. This is the closest war I think we've had throughout the whole competition, and we've had a few incredible ones. I think Germany versus UK stands out as one of the closer ones, and this is even and NL versus USA West, of course. But this is outpacing both of those with only a 1-point difference. Very, very rare to see in this game. For those who don't know, this is a really, really strong front-running track. There really aren't any like super, super amazing shortcuts to catch up on, or sections of the track where, shrooms let you like capitalize. The shortcut on this track is this little gap cut that's about to come up. Just like it existed in Double Dash. However, everybody can do the cut regardless of their item, so it's not going to allow like anybody to catch up because of like a star or a shroom. Japan keeping their top 2 right now, but UK in 3, 4, 5. Pack is still very, very tight.
Yeah, I think I saw one of the UK members trying to invade that top 2 right there, and then back green's out, bumping Xander, ends up getting Luke, and further solidify their lead right there. I saw there was some chaos in the cut right there. I think Sean, when he tried breaking into that top, ended up having to go for like the slower cut. This is a course also that top spots can matter a lot on, not just for the cannon, but for the fact I'd say it's potentially, if not the most like stalemate, like one of the most stalemate bagging courses, because you get stuck playing the game of chicken back there with the boxes. A blue pull from Luke going to go out to Japan, going to get them before the cannon. But nobody really wants to go for that 9th place box because you can't reliably like get back on to the ramp beforehand that quickly. It's also a very dividing track running wise because it's very awkward to drive, especially with flame runners, which you know most people end up driving.
Yeah.
So unless you are on the side of Japan, or I know especially a lot of Denmark, I believe, also liked it because of MW. Unless you have played a lot with Funky, it can be dividing for that. But we're going to see what happens here. As Mac Triple Reds as well as Luke. Luke not being able to do much with them. Going to imagine he's going to back these soon. That way he can use his Reds in the final straight. End up hitting Sean. Taking an interesting line. That had to have been a UK shock with how Luke was preparing himself for the corner with the shock. Good play from him. Sean ends up dodging in a Mega. We're going to see if he can make any commotion here in the final straight, but Luke ends up landing on the shell.
No,
and
Luke!
is going completely out of control. I think I saw a lot of Japan there in the line, so it might have been a good race through UK if Sean was able to go up there with his dodge and ends up getting a good chain in the last straight. But unfortunately, just ends up landing there onto the shells.
Wow, I think that comes out. I want to see how the top spots shaped up. There was a kind of a mixed bag towards the back. Luke and Flary in the back for UK, but also 2 members of Japan in the back as well, judging from Battle Glitch. And I want to see how those top spots shaped up because the shock was on UK side. 1, 3, 6, 8. And then I think it was and it was 9th from the bagger. So 3-point difference for UK that race. And they are now up by 2 with 2 races to go. This is actually insane. This is absolutely nuts.
I'm happy to be here casting it, as just after having to cast so many like complete like 100+ blowouts in a lot of the earlier stages of the World Cup. I'm really happy to be here for this. I really don't know at this point who's gonna edge out. It's just so close. The bagger switch out just mattering so much from Japan. They really seem to be just on even ground at this point, really. It's great to see. Coconut Mall coming out from the UK and Jungle Parkway coming out for Japan right now. Japan really seems to love these cannon courses, I'm noticing.
Japan with all of the like Daisy and cannon course picks. It's really funny because I think like for the other viable character, or like rather bike we see is the Mach Bike, usually Daisy Mach Bike out of people, but we have no Daisy Mach Bike users in this lobby, right? And Japan, I would say particularly well known for using Daisy Mach Bike as well, and just not a single Daisy in this room. Even though we keep going to Daisy tracks, it's very, very funny to see.
But that's potentially the probably I'd imagine like the strategy behind them, where it's that they have practice on these courses that like a lot of Funky users don't end up, like playing. And if they have this experience teaching these courses, these primarily Daisy courses with Funky, you could have a bit of a line advantage, especially say on something like PK Mountain. But yeah, we're out here in Jungle Parkway, just like the course that we were dealing with. But I think we have a little bit of a slideshow, but there was some chaos there at the beginning. Look how far behind you Reddy and Luke are from the pack. I'm sad we weren't able to see what happened there, but geez, that's crazy. Maybe a TC battle, but we're gonna have both a little bit of a slideshow, I think.
We're finding our way back in. I have refreshed my feed. It looks like it's coming back a little. The connection's a little spotty all over the place right now. We have a lot of viewers all of a sudden. I think we just shot up to like 780 viewers as well. Bad timing on so many people tuning in. I think the feed is back. I think Luke's connection is stable. Shoutouts to Xfinity Wi-Fi. Shoutouts to Comcast technician for not showing up on time and setting up the net at Irish New Place. You're really messing with the Mario Kart community, Comcast. Thank you very much. But with all things all stable and well now, it seems like UK finding themselves in 5-6. It's we don't have as good of an idea of what has happened over the course of this race. I think it's Japan in bottom 2 right now, or in 7-8 rather.
Also, a chaos right there just happened. Maybe a back bomb. Pack is tight again. Luke holding blue right now. Looks for Xander with top 2-4 for UK right now, but a shock coming out. I'd imagine for UK, that's got to be a UK shock, and that's gonna further lead. Does not have a hold of the blue anymore though. So if Japan is able to get one of those, could do some damage. All of these players from both sides right now getting shocked into these bottom spots before that ending. We could have some chaos happening though on that tight final bridge. We're gonna see what happens here. Coming up, a few members end up getting hit. I think UK still in that top 2 position, yes, but Urei trying to break through right now. It looks like triple shrooms. Luke goldening up as well into top 2. I think it was top 3. I think Urei having a bit of fail right there, trying to come up with those triple shrooms at the end.
Yeah, I think unfortunately we were a little ahead of the cast. I don't know how that's even possible with the setup that we have. I'm like really not actually sure how that's possible, but yeah, what a wild ending to that race. I would say, I mean, I have to say that this track is one of the more consistently holy nutty tracks at the end due to the chaos of that last turn, due to the chaos of the bridge. UK finding a top 3 when they need it most. Absolutely incredible from them. And I think that's going to be was it a 5-8 as well? We're going to see let me just double check, but UK getting top 3, a huge swing. That's going to make it really, really hard for Japan to turn this one around. They really, really needed that. Puts all the pressure on Japan because at this point, right, when you attack on a big race win like that at the end, you're in a really tough spot to like swing it back in your favor. It's certainly possible, but with what you can't just win the race, right? You need to win by a margin of 20 points or more. Right now, UK up by 19 going into the last race. So Japan is looking for a race that's like top 2, 4-5, a top 3. They really, really need a big race here. This is crazy close, man. I cannot believe it has come down to this. Japan facing elimination on this race, man.
I need to denote this right now that Japan is facing elimination by -19, and they've opted for GV2 for their final race, the shortest course, maybe one of the most hectic, like especially like at the start. Like I don't know. That's we have some major cojones inside of Japan right now.
I mean, they have to be all running, right? They have to be putting all 5 people forward. I mean, that's part of why you would go here, yes, to my understanding.
Yes, they are. That's what they're opting for. Really interesting. Really just like all inning right now. It's not reliable to all run here because of how like hectic it can get, but it just could work. But at the start right now, I think we see UK in top 3 with one of the Japaners trying to break through there into Xander.
I mean, they're in a really tough spot. So much needs to come together here for this race to work out properly, and UK in top 3, halfway into lap 2. So many things need to change quickly for this race to turn out any different. We're already headed into the 3rd lap, the shortest course in the game. I have to wonder, man, like, was it really worth risking it on GV2? This lap 3 will decide everything here. An insane POW going to prevent a few members of UK from taking cut. A bomb coming out, somebody in a star, somebody in a bill. If the shock doesn't happen, it's over.
It's over. I believe it. Unless I have found myself in the 5th dimension again, predicting the future. I believe, yeah, that's gonna be a 2-0 victory for UK. Top 2 right there. They were not able to pull the shock in 9th or a blue out there. So they're all running stat. I respect it. Not being able to pull through. UK looking to take it home, advancing to the grand finals, just demonstrating their prowess, especially in that War 1 and this War 2. However, props to Japan for like keeping it extremely close and providing a really entertaining match 2 right there. It's completely back and forth. So
that was absolute insanity all the way through. It is crazy that the score of that match almost ends up being the exact same as the previous match because the journey to arrive at the score was so different. UK in control for the whole War previous, where pretty much every race ran in UK's favor. There were no big swings on either side. Every race win was like pretty marginal, and UK just had a chokehold on the war, it felt like. Whereas this one, massive races on either side, score the lead, pivoting back and forth between the two teams, but then UK pulling it together really solidly in the final two races. And I have to say, this team really living up to expectation right now, where we kind of all picked them as the favorite, especially after the